بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا
الحمد لله الذي هدى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على سيد الرسل وخاتم الأنبياء وعلى آله وأصحابه الذين اجتبى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال يا بني لا تدخلوا من باب واحد وادخلوا من أبواب متفرقة وما أغني عنكم من الله من شيء إن الحكم إلا لله عليه توكلت وعليه فليتوكل المتوكلون صدق الله العظيم. Last week we were talking about jealousy and how it affects our life. Mainly affects the life of a person who is jealous of others. And as I mentioned, one of the effects of jealousy or a disease that comes as a result of jealousy is an evil eye. It won't necessarily come as a result of jealousy. Most of the time it is a result of it. But sometimes there could be other reasons for it too. But it's something very important for us to know about it, because we all, each and every one of us, is a subject of the disease, which means could be affected. Not necessarily we could hurt others by it, but we could be affected by this disease. What is an evil eye? In our time, it's very easy to understand, because we know that one of the most advanced method of surgery is through a laser. The laser that would pass through your skin, through your flesh, through the bones, and they could direct it to the point where they would like the treatment to be done, without hurting any other surface on the body. Evil eye, you could say, it works in the same manner. These are some rays. Our eyes produces that laser that affects people. Many times you don't even know that it's going out of you. You don't intend to do it. But this is just like a machine that is being exposed. And everyone would come in front of that machine will have an effect of that machine. Those rays will hit this person, and something may happen to this person. This is what the eye is. It could affect someone. And the amazing part of the evil eye is that sometimes it would affect us because the person is jealous of us. And sometimes it will affect us because the person likes you. Someone likes something good about you, that could affect you. Someone hates you and is jealous of some of your good qualities, that could affect you too. So it affects from both sides. How much that could affect us? How much harm could this cause us? It's something that we really need to understand. And especially when we look into the hadith, you would be surprised to see how many instructions Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have given us in this, about this matter, in this regard of an evil eye, and making sure that we try to protect ourselves from an evil eye, and how careless we are about this topic. For many of us, this may be totally new. We have never heard any hadith about this. Whereas the hadith in the Sahih, Bukhari and Muslim both have narrated the hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Al-aynu haq. The evil eye is a reality. He said, it is a reality. It could affect you. Some people, by nature, they have that evil eye. Even when they like something, it ends up causing some harm to the thing. It could be anything, not just human beings. It could be anything in this world. Just like a story narrated in the books, that a person who was jealous of another person, he wanted to cause some harm to this person. So he found a man who had a real bad evil eye. And it was there in the past. Of course, in these short sessions, we don't have time to go into too much details of all of these topics. But under the tafsir of Surah Al-Qalam, and especially the ending ayah, وَإِن يَكَادُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَيُزْلِقُونَكَ بِأَبْصَارِهِمْ لَمَّا سَمِعُوا الذِّكْرَ وَيَقُولُونَ إِنَّهُ لَمَجْنُونَ. Under the tafsir of this ayah, some of the mufassirin have narrated that Yahud at that time, they gathered all the people among themselves who were known to have a very strong evil eye. And they all gathered and they stood outside of the door of the masjid to have their effect on Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam when he would come and sit on the minbar. And the effect of it was such that as soon as he came off the minbar, he asked the Sahaba, hold me, I can't walk anymore. And we know in Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas, those were the surahs that were revealed because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was affected by magic. So all of those things were happening, and there are people who are really good with these things, or we could say they are real bad with these things. They could have a real bad effect. So this man finds a person, and in the history we find a lot of this. Really, when you read the history, you find a lot of this in the past. That there were people who were known to have a bad effect, and people used to pay them to use them against their enemies. So this man finds that person who could have a real bad effect with his evil eye. And he says, I would like you to use it against such and such person. He said, okay, when you see the man, show it to me, show the man to me, and then I will do my work. So they both are together and they see the man coming from a distance. He says, look, that's the man. He said, who? He said, the one that's standing by the tree there. He said, oh, your eyes are real good. You could see a man standing by the tree all the way there. I can't see him. Just as he said that, this person who wanted to have the effect on the other person, he lost his eyes. The effect of this person's evil eye on the person who hired him, that you could see that far. So really, good or bad quality, as I said, is not if a person intends to do it. It's just the effect of that eye. This is why in many ahadith, really there are a lot of ahadith in which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam advised us to seek the proper protection against the evil eye. In fact, you may be surprised to see that Qur'an speaks about it. There are ayahs of Al-Qur'an that talk about this topic. The ayahs that I have just recited from Surah Yusuf, Yaqub alayhi salatu wassalam advised his children, Ya baniya la tadkhulu min babin wahid, wadkhulu min abwabin mutafarriqa. Oh my sons, don't enter when you go to the town, when you go to the town of Yusuf alayhi salam, don't enter from the same door. Make sure you all enter from different doors. Because 11 brothers, handsome brothers, mashallah, good bodies, strong. They are the children of a prophet of Allah. So they got their share of that beauty. Their brother is known for his beauty, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. My sons, don't enter from the same door. Imam Ibn Kathir rahimahullah says, and raised on the authority of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that he said, he asked them not to enter from the same door to protect them from the evil eye of the people, as if they see all 11 brothers entering and mashallah, look at these all brothers together, right there, that could affect them. In Surah Al-Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about the story of two men. One of them had beautiful gardens, farms. His friend was advising, وَلَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ قُلْتَ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. When you enter into your farms, how come you don't say مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ? To protect yourself and your belongings from the evil eye of people. Let's look at some of the hadiths very quickly so we can understand the effect of these things and how far they would go. Imam Bazzar rahimahullah narrated in his Sahih. Imam Suyuti rahimahullah, Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah, they all have narrated with an authentic isnad on the authority of Jabir radiyallahu anhu. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أكثر من يموت من أمتي بعد قضاء الله وقدره بالعين. Most of the people that would die of my ummah would be the result of an evil eye. Of course, it's after the qada, which means, of course, the qada and qadar is there. But when you look at the worldly means, someone got into an accident, someone died because he got a cancer. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when you look at the worldly means that is causing the largest number of death in this ummah will be through the evil eye. And especially when it comes to children. A lot of children die due to this. In another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Al-aynu tudkhilu al-rajul al-qabr. The evil eye will throw the person in his grave. وَتُدْخِلُ الْجَمَلَ الْقِدْرِ, and will cause the camel to enter into his cooking pot. Which means, someone likes a camel. Such a strong camel, such a nice camel, or whatever they like about the camel, and the evil eye affected the camel, will get so sick now the owner has no choice but to slaughter it and use the meat of it. In another hadith, al-Mu'mineen, Salama radiyallahu anha narrates, once Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam entered my home, and a young girl was playing in our home from the neighborhood. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he saw the face of this girl, he said, it's so yellowish, as if she has no blood in her body. What's wrong with her? We said, Ya Rasulullah, she always stays sick. Every second day she is sick. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam looked at her and he said, Inna biha nadra. She's been affected by an evil eye. فَاسْتَرْقُوا لَهَا. Find someone who can recite the ruqya on her, which means some of the du'as that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, that we recite that du'a and blow it on her. Find a person who knows these things so he can treat her with that. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah narrates on the authority of Aisha radiyallahu anha, that once Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam came home and a woman had been in the house, she came to visit Aisha radiyallahu anha with her infant. The child was crying continuously. And how many times we face that situation? The child had been crying continuously. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Ma li sabiyikum hada?" What happened to this child? Why is it crying and doesn't stop crying? We said, Ya Rasulullah, this is how it is. Something is wrong. We don't know what's wrong. We got all type of treatment, but he keeps on crying. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, it's an effect of an evil eye. Make sure you find someone who would do the ruqyah on this child. Aisha radiyallahu anha says that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he asked me too. Mu'mineen Aisha radiyallahu anha, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to her, Ya Aisha, istarqi min ayn. Make sure you keep on doing the ruqyah on yourself from the evil eye, because there are a lot of people who don't like you. People may be jealous, or people who would like you, and you would be affected by that. We see in the light of these hadiths that how it would affect us. Children getting sick, crying all the time. Older people getting very weak, not being healthy. This is all an effect. It could be an effect of an evil eye. In fact, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, majority of the people died due to this. Once Rasulullah, Imam Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, have written in his tafsir, that once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Fatima radiyallahu anha, and he saw Hassan and Hussein radiyallahu anhuma, both of them are lying flat on the bed. What's wrong with Fatima? They're sick. He said, Ya Rasulullah, only just now they were outside, they were playing, and then they came in, and they both just came and they laid down on the bed. I don't know what happened to them. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam tries to move them, they don't even move. As if they're just breathing the last, they're dying. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam got very sad. Right there, Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam came. What's wrong here, Muhammad? You're so sad. He said, yeah, look at Hassan and Hussein. Look at their situation. It looks like they're dead. Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam said, yes, it's an effect of an evil eye. As they were playing outside, they got affected by that. And then Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam taught Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam a dua. The hadith says, as soon as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam recited that dua, and he blew on both of them, they got up and started playing as they have. There was nothing wrong with them. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam advising the ummah, he said, make sure that you use these du'as for your children, because they all get affected once in a while by an evil eye. This is the children of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We think, because we recite this and we do this and we do this, we may not be affected. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam's grandchildren, the sons of Fatima radiyallahu anha, the sons of Ali radiyallahu anhu, they're being affected by this. So it has a lot of effect on us. It really does a lot in hurting people's lives. And it could be a business, it could be health, it could be your work, it could be your home. Someone bought a new car, and few days later you see the person is having back problem. What happened? Doesn't know. Let's go for a surgery. Someone says you need to have this surgery. Someone says no, you need to have that. Even after surgery, the person is still facing the same problem. It wasn't that wasn't the real cause and the reason. Right away, because now we just go by these things right away. Let's go to a doctor, get it treated, and if we take all kind of medications, and those medications, they start having their side effects, and a surgery, and a person is getting through all of those things. Few du'as could be the treatment and the answer for all of these problems. The only thing is, our iman has changed. The direction of iman has changed. Now we trust all of these things. Believe me, if our iman and trust was in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's words, that will be the first thing we would do. But that has gone out. We totally neglected these teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw the children of Ja'far radiyallahu anhu. He had passed away. He was murdered. Ja'far al-Tayyar, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's cousin, Ali radiyallahu anhu, his brother. So he said to Ja'far radiyallahu anhu's wife, Asma bint Umays radiyallahu anha, that how come I see the bodies of my children's brother, of my nephew, they're very weak. She said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, they always stay sick. Because they get affected by an evil eye very quickly. Ja'far radiallahu anhu, according to the hadith, he was the person who resembled Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam the most. In his look, he was the most resembling person to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So of course his children also carried his beauty. So they used to get affected by an evil eye very quickly. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Oh Asma, make sure you find some ruqya for them, something to recite and blow on them." She said, "Ya Rasulullah, should I use ruqya?" Because she thought it may not be allowed. She said, "I should the ruqya, Ya Rasulullah." He said, "Use it. Oh Asma, keep on using it and protect the children." One of the common mistakes that we make in our time. In addition to trying to put the best dress on our children, make them as good as we can, as handsome as they can, as pretty as they can, and then we take them into gatherings. Of course, in a large gathering, you would notice this a lot of time, especially infants, children. When they come back from a gathering, right there you will see something happens to them. Either they start crying, they don't stop crying, they fall down, something happens to them after that. So rather than beautifying our children in the eyes of people, we should always use a method where at least, they won't look as good as they are. Even as they are. Yeah, for ourselves, inshallah, that's fine. We keep on reciting dua, but in a large gathering, majority of the people, they won't recite any dua if they like them. And right there, they get affected. Now the child is suffering. And worse than that, I would say, something that we do, we use our children's pictures as profile pictures on our emails, on different websites, Facebook, whatever that may be. Now everyone in the world sees our children's picture. And now maybe someone says, "Oh, look at this handsome child." The child may even have been grown up now. 10 years later, look at this handsome boy. And right there, something happens to the boy. You caused that to him. Don't use your children for that. There are, alhamdulillah, good pictures of the masajid. You can use those pictures. And no evil eye will affect the masajid, inshallah. But when we use our children, and this is just a few examples of how we put our children in that situations. We should always avoid these situations. Look at the history. Unfortunately, we are very disconnected. When I read the history and when I look at the past, we find that in the past, what they used to do is when children were young, before they would start growing the beard, mostly for boys, they used to keep their hair very short or just shave it. Because when boys have nice hair, they look very handsome. They look very cute with the nice hair styles. So now, of course, as you make the child look good, right there, someone sees the child and he gets affected. So they used to try to make them in a way dress them in a way that they won't be affected by those type of things. Uthman radiallahu anhu, he saw a very handsome boy. So he said to his family, put something on his cheeks that would make it a little darker. Put something on his face, on his cheeks, that will make him look a little darker so that he won't be affected by an evil eye. And we try to make them look even more beautiful. See, it's a mistake. And that is affecting them. And how many lives may be lost just due to this, because parents, they want their children to look like that. These are the instructions that we find in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And therefore Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us a lot of du'as to protect our children, ourselves, our belongings, everything from that evil eye. Du'as to be recited from both sides. From the people who like something, so that they won't have a bad effect on things that they like. And du'as to be recited by those who need to protect themselves and their belongings. And especially Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised that our women and children especially should reciting these du'as, and those who cannot recite them, we should recite and blow it on them. Inshallah, in our next session, we will talk about some of those du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the methods of protection from an evil eye. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of us from all the evils, from all the fitnas, and protect us from having any evil effect on others. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always make us the source of khair for others and protect all of us from every evil that could affect anyone in a bad way.
أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله تبارك وتعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين يا رب العالمين.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما